February 25th, 12:06, District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Welcome to the finale of Ace Attorney. Sorry, Edgeworth. Sorry for the creakiness of my chair. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours.
Well, I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Yay, we get to see Gumshoes one last time. And I'm sure we'll see him after the case or something, maybe, but at least it's good to know that he's going to be in the finale.
Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around while on duty. To top it all off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals.
I feel like this sounds familiar. I take it Anna's having you run errands again.
Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial.
Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shared without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
Seems so.
You can at least study some evidence law, really. Excuse me.
The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message.
A message?
She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book.
Him. Guess I need to give this book a thorough read.
Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though.
Let's see. Number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay.
All that's left now is the chief prosecutor says.
That's where you're wrong, detective.
Oh?
Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting on that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me.
Mr. Edgeworth.
The real trial today hasn't begun yet.
What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. And the Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
You're missing the point, detective. Anna didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there.
What?
And we're gonna expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. Time to bring it to an end.
February 25th,
12:52. District Court, courtroom number 9.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions.
Thank you for the news, Your Honor.
Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have,
struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witness?
I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and...
We will, Your Honor. I have a solution.
A solution?
That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses.
What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement. A very effective one. It proves that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say?
Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal.
Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness.
Mr. Wright, you do realize that this is your last chance. You called the wrong witness. This trial is as good as over. The defense calls. I'm finally coming to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand.
Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything?
As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Your name and occupation, sir.
Worthy, are you sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
My pause? So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police.
Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony.
Oh, righto. What's with the grim face?
First, let's clear up this SL9 incident.
Oh, you mean the time Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already.
There are still some things unaccounted for.
Oh, like what?
Like the role you played in all this.
Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to.
What? Is that true?
I'm afraid so. Chief of police has the right to refuse to testify.
Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony.
My throat is starting to get shot.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, he slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? He was lying on the floor, unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut.
Police chief has the right to refuse to testify. I'd better hit him hard and fast. Alright, press him on everything. Let's go. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day.
Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. Probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that.
Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room?
I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for her.
The two of you ran immediately after him, right?
That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. Guess you could say he got lucky.
What's this about a power outage?
Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when the knife went into his heart, though.
That's not funny. You tell us what you saw.
It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together.
Dark was also laying collapsed on the floor.
Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls.
Lana and Emma.
Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, he must have already known what her sister had done.
How can you know that?
Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved.
That means you found the body near Lana's desk.
That's right. Like you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor.
Yes.
Anyway, could see I had nothing to do with the forgery.
So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances.
That how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd better off staring at the court record.
Worthy. Always the smooth talker.
Which piece of evidence does Gant or ties Gant to the forgery? When I did admit to forging evidence, that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. So, I'm thinking cloth? Oh. You really had nothing to do with the forgery. And how do you explain this?
Ooh, what's that? And what's on it? Handprint?
Chief Gant, your explanation, please.
I don't know. You tell me, son.
Huh?
My dear writer, don't you know the second rule of evidence law?
Oh, not this again. Evidence law?
Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared.
I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence.
Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay, I'll do it just this once, but only because you asked, Udgy. Thank you. I assure you the defense is terribly sorry.
Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Well, I really thought that was it. What about this? You claimed you had nothing to do with the forgery. I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up.
Explain yourself.
Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example.
That's that blue badger you showed us earlier.
A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, the evidence list I presented earlier. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I could have presented that too. Is actually found inside your desk.
It was found where?
You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence were uncovered in your office. Are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation.
Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, there's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. Here's a defense attorney that may even rival Worthy.
So you admit it, so you admit to it then, you were involved in the forgery.
Who, me? Or do you mean you?
Me? Why would I have anything to do with that?
Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Wright?
Can't prove it's fake. However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
Oh, what? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work.
Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, in their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. These kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all you know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered.
If they were found after Dark was convicted, they're worthless.
There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery.
Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief. Would you mind waiting till tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Edgy, in your turn, no? I know. That place, right?
Huh? What are these guys? Telepathic? Let's see. I guess press. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point.
You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that.
What? How do you know? Back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped...
Mr. Wright, what do you say? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later.
Later? What are you talking about?
What else? I'm talking about when Wright's prints are found. Yes, if they were found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal.
I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy.
Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered.
What do you mean by that?
This is all purely hypothetical, of course. Suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
If concealing evidence found at a crime isn't forgery, I'm gonna start there. I didn't pick the jar because it was in the safe. I picked the jar because some of the blood was wiped away.
I'm not through speaking yet, righto? It all depends on when the evidence was discovered.
Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the original investigation?
Would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced.
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief was talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule it out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Or something I don't know.
Come on now, righto. Think about it. There's no reason to participate in the forgery.
How can you look me in the eye and say that?
Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was in the sky. Well, now do you see? Arranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Really, Chief Gant. At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this.
Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh.
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive.
Ho ho ho. Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
What do you mean?
Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. Resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little.
Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway.
Yeah. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at.
So, that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself, and you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Gee, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little?
By all means.
Or, by all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me.
Nothing in it for you.
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
Seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Ho ho ho. That's a good one, Worthy.
There have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Well, based on how we're talking about it, I'm gonna say the answer is yes. It's helped me so far this episode quite a bit to just assume that I am going somewhere. True, you might not help out for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I mean.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence?
Out of these, I'd probably say be Lana. She was his right hand until she got moved, until they transferred her over to the prosecutor's office.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant.
I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? As for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
But how could he profit from all of this?
He would be able to use his Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would require an unchecked authority over all investigations.
You mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her.
Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
What?
Do you have any proof of this?
That I control Lana.
For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
Lana is keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Grant.
I'm afraid without any proof, this is almost to nothing more than conjecture.
Alas, that is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Or which one would that be?
Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy, you better watch your tongue. Wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? Order. I said, order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder, that's impossible.
Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It's like he's the one who decided to go through this, or go through with this.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? The chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, was involved in this murder.
Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. Alright then, see what Mr. Wright's got. It better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
I can tell you pretty easily. There's none other than the sheet of paper with his ID number on it.
This is the ID card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
It's your number.
What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing.
The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations.
I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you
About the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want.
Tell me, you entered the room. Were you alone?
I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room.
Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he?
Oh, of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days.
Hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean? The child's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
No, it isn't, Your Honor. The child's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing: what transpired during that meeting.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime.
Not any of those last few. I thought it was going to be the screwdriver for a second because I was thinking it was SL9. So to say, oh, if this thing was brought to my office from SL9 by Gant's request, maybe there was some way they met up there. But this is AI-16. On the tag, that means that has nothing to do with the current case. Yeah, so what is the purpose of this thing? Wait, wasn't this mentioned earlier in the case or something? I forgot what they said. It was from a... I'm blanking in my memory right now. I mean, it was from a previous case of Edgeworth. It had something to do in... I can't remember. There's something where Edgeworth got screwed or got in trouble because he didn't open up the evidence that was handed to him. Oh yeah, because this ended up being some sort of evidence in the case, right? But he turned it away. I'm just gonna use that because I got nothing else going for me, and I can't think of anything else. There's got to be something more solid than this. That day, Goodman had to go see Chief Gant. Sorry to interrupt your mumblings, but the court is waiting. I guess it's not that. Maybe tomorrow. Perhaps you could write up your letter of termination. Regardless, he did see Detective Goodman that day. For evidence, okay, so it wasn't the screwdriver. Can only be submitted to Chief of Police. Duh. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. The Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. Who had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report. Which means you can't be sure he filled it, or if he filed. He filed it? How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day.
He needed to?
Yes, to transfer the evidence out.
Oh.
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room.
I accompanied him.
There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room.
Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman.
Exactly.
But wait. The Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card.
Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe God damn it, it keeps cutting away. I might something. I'm sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. You showed us your card earlier. You really had lent it to Detective Goodman. It would have been found on his body.
No! Chief Gant, you didn't.
The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there?
I was at the police department the entire day, you know.
Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal.
Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
Chief Gant, left all the evidence we need. Prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
Move the victim's body. Chief can't use this. I guess it's gonna be this parking ticket. Maybe he put it in Edward's car and Edward brought it back. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body.
A parking stub? Miles Edgeworth.
You mean the body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. You did return. Tell me, why? Ain't nothing but a heartache. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. Screwdriver? In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, the victim's body in your trunk.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. Transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye.
Order. What's going on here? There's no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations.
Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. Why, time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. You have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special.
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons.
Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. But this is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
They are going to just run away after all this.
Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now.
Well,
You think I had Lana dispose of the body. So, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of the body.
Do I have any concrete proof? The answer is always yes. Out of this, I gotta keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence.
Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember. Better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt.
I've got nothing. I keep wanting to go to this, but that's more so for Marshall than anything. We can't go back. Who's that? He murdered Goodman. I guess the ID record? I have no idea. So, what exactly is this evidence? Proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge.
But I am the judge.
All right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor?
I want to think, Mr. Wright, as I'm going to be late for lunch.
Guess it wasn't enough. Please, Your Honor, just give me a little longer to consider.
Say it again, Mr. Wright. DeMcGint is the current chief of police. The court will not tolerate an accusation to give.
Assume without any proof. You have any concrete proof? I'm gonna have to say no because I couldn't find anything in there, and I just took a hit for it. There's no use showing evidence if I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
C.G. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for allegations against the chief.
What?
Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto? Seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Edgy, I'll leave the rest to you.
And he just leaves.
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
What? Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. I haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. Are they talking about Lana? I can't think of any other female that's not involved. I guess it'd have to be Lana, right? She hasn't technically testified. Lady who knows the truth, another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person?
Why are you asking me, Your Honor? You've forgotten. The defense is the one calling the witnesses today.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
She may not be willing to tell the truth. We can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... Lana Skye.
The defendant, Miss Lana Skye.
She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now Hold on.
Huh?
Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana.
He's talking to Lana.
I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. Got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, the court is now in recess.
February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Looks like you managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth.
That chief. He's something else, eh, pals?
Detective Gumshoe.
Haha, I'm not a detective anymore.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office.
At my office?
Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
You mean Maya?
Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand?
That fairy has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said.
But Chief, it's not a right to be casually imposed. There are certain risks to be considered.
Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. He forfeits his right to say anything too. I had a feeling. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all, just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her.
What do you mean?
What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. Forced herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. Must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see.
Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. And Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. To be continued. We got one more episode. I thought this was the finale, but we got one more episode. Alright. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I'll catch you guys in the finale. Goodbye.